Well, hello everyone. I'm Clint. Welcome to Sweetcast. Today I had a discussion that happens all too often in comics. I give out a lot of advice. People ask me for advice often. I don't know why. I still can't figure that out. But more often than you would expect, people come to me and say,
hey, I tried to do my comic. This is not making sense. I tried to crowdfund. I feel extremely discouraged. I feel embarrassed, humiliated. I don't want to do this ever again. I wish I never had.
There are so many people that run into this that there's even an article here on random website that says when to give up. And it's about when you should, give up on your dream on becoming a comic book creator. In fact, here's a line here. But the unpleasant fact is not everyone is publishable. Yeah, so that's a tough pill to swallow. But I think I have got some good news for you. And that is that you don't have to be good at everything to get published in comics or to publish your own stuff with a solid Indiegogo campaign. You just have to be good at your thing. And then you've got to have the right kind of creative team around you to make it work. So I'm going to spell this out, I think, in a nice way. You let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to leave me a like too while you're at it, because that helps everything. Also, before I get into this, Downcast Rise and Fall is on Indiegogo right now. Check it out in the link in the description below. This story is awesome. I'm so excited to give it to you. Please back it so you can get in. All right, so this happened on a live stream. In person, I watched a little bit of this, couldn't catch the whole thing, but my name was mentioned. I have been evoked, and I'm going to make some comments on it. So right now, this is Billy Tucci's stream with Niall Scalia. You've got Chuck Dixon on. You've got Graham Nolan. How about that for an all-star cast? And then you have your boy Zach, of course. Let's hear what your boy Zach has to say.
At one point, there are some people who I can understand if they're hating. They're like, I can write and I can draw, but I can't do YouTube videos. I don't know this. Find yourself someone who can. Get them on that team. And have them just be like, you're our Stan Lee, and move forward on that. But you do need to have some personality. But then again, this is going to sound like a diss, but this guy is great. Is a Sweetcast. I mean,
yeah, no, we love
that guy's got the personality of mashed potatoes. But he's a good guy. People like him. He's consistent. And he's increased on the second one.
Yeah.
It's just to say you have to be like a real colorful. It's not.
What he didn't mention is that I have the smoothest voice on YouTube. I sound like a cherubim with a thinning hairline. But we'll let that one slide. He's absolutely right though. What he's talking about essentially is the new creative team. I think everything that you think you know about creative teams in comics, you need to throw out the window. Because things have changed. If you want to get published in comics and you don't have access to a major publisher that wants to continue giving you work in comics, that's the thing. Getting into a publisher does not mean that you're going to stay in comics. I was under this misconception for too long, and that is if you breaking into comics is like you get a job and then you're hired. You're great. All you have to do is not screw up and you're going to stay in comics. That's not how it works at all. And so this is why crowdfunding independent comics is better, in my opinion, than working for Marvel and DC. This is the pinnacle of success. You're welcome, everybody. That's because as long as you can get people interested in buying your book, that means that you got to keep making books. That for me is how I measure success. Obviously, I don't want to do it losing money or just even breaking even. I want to make a profit doing it so it's worth my time. I'm getting paid to do it, but that is much more likely to happen in indie comics if you have the right creative team. So I think everybody should start thinking about this a little bit differently.
His deal is that he's friendly. He seems very likable. He seems like a guy you could just hang out with, and he's there. So if you're not the most electrifying person in the world, just do some daily content. Talk about your life, because then you become a part of people's lives. Drive home from work, you listen to Sweetcast talking about rearranging his sock drawer. You're like, okay, this is actually he's getting a little crazy right here, but let's go with it.
The people are genuine. And you can see that. I mean, there's I'm sure there's some phonies on YouTube, but
Stan Lee is often brought up as the guy to sell comics. He's the salesman, and I'll tell you, I don't think it's because he had like the winning formula. It's that he had a winning formula. He had something that worked for him with his skill set. And, you know, whatever it is, he saw progress with it. And so he kept hammering home at that. He's an incredibly charming man, and he's charming in his own unique Stan Lee way. So if you think that you can't be Stan Lee, you're right, you can't be Stan Lee. You also cannot be Sweetcast either, because you're your own thing. Now, you might, I'm not gonna be a liar to you. You might be terrible at making daily content and getting out there and trying to be heard and seen. Obviously, I wish I was better at it. I think I would have a larger YouTube channel if I was better at it. But, you know, again, I'm working with what I have. So the question is, what is this magical new position in comics as part of your creative team that is the front man of the band? Essentially, it's the salesman. It is the Stan Lee.
Now then, let's start with the basics.
Stan Lee gave people a reason to be interested in what he was doing and a reason to be interested in his comics. He also got people to like him, right? You know, by just being himself in the, you know, this kind of way. And I'm sure he tried to amplify certain aspects about himself, but people found that likable. Got people to like him. He got people to be interested in setting them, you know, a reason essentially to buy comics. He got people to trust him that he was doing good stuff. You know, and a part of that is just running a healthy business, you know, for the most part, in Marvel Comics, getting stories out, you know, building trust with the fans.
Why do you wear those glasses all the time? You wear them to sleep.
You know, the funny thing is, I started wearing these years ago. I don't even remember why. And when people do caricatures of me, they
draw
always
you with
have
the
the glasses, and it's become like a little trademark.
But don't you see the world through dark eyes?
No, it's great. I don't see any of the imperfections.
There's so much truth to that too, because you know, it's become part of him, right? It is part of him, and you make it work, right? If you can find a way to make it work. Now, here's the other thing. I'm not going to tell you that everybody can do it. Not everybody can do it. I don't know what the magic sauce is. If I did, again, I would be better at this. But from everything I've observed, this is the truth. And you got to think, like Alan Moore, I bet you could think of a ton of comic book writers that are actually not very good. Would you want to watch YouTube videos from this guy?
I mean, Lovecraft was certainly not a misogynist, but...
No, but he was a good writer. He knew how to write. And I think there are a lot of people like that. So you've got your front man that does their thing they can do. Often they're writers. They're also often artists, frankly. They do all sorts of things. Heck, they could be letterers as well. Looking at you, Eric. But you got someone out there that is being the salesman. The other part of that then is that if you're an amazing artist, you have a little bit more leeway here. You can create, or you know, you can make your own creative team, or be looking for a creative team and look for that Stan Lee for Todd McFarlane. That's a bad example because Todd McFarlane, he just did it all himself. You know what I mean though? Not all artists are great on YouTube and are great at, you know, this kind of thing. Not all writers are great at it. I mean, most writers are probably not. Like, the whole point is that you sit down and you write. I think I'm a much better writer than I am a YouTuber, but you find what works.
You have an identical hairline to Clint Stoker, but you're much more handsome.
So don't be discouraged. Everybody's got difficult things that they're coming up against, trying to make work. I think the best possible thing to do is look at what you have, look at the hand that you're dealt, and see if there's a way that you can make forward progress, or that you can also connect in professional ways with other people. Comics are rarely something that is totally done by one person, and there's, you know, one person doing the whole show. They're certainly out there, and I envy those people greatly. The truth is, though, that you can get other people, other creators involved that do their part really, really well. Just start thinking of it as you got to have somebody that's going to be able to be that to keep the marketing machine running. It doesn't matter who it is, but they got to have some kind of method to get there. Otherwise, you can make the greatest comic in the world and nobody is going to see it. All right, thanks for watching this episode of Sweetcast. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, subscribe, everything. And don't forget that Downcast Rise and Fall. See, here I go. I'm promoting it again. It is in the link in the description below. Be one of the many backers who have given me this amazing opportunity to bring the story that I love to life. So thank you very much, and I will see you next time.